So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, viewers. An update for you. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar returned to Trinidad and Tobago on Wednesday night, following her trip to New York for the United Nations General Assembly and several important bilateral meetings. In a video posted on the UNC's Facebook page on Wednesday night, Persad-Bissessar said she brought back big win for the country while thanking those who supported for the past couple of days. Kamala.
Back to work. Our team represented TNT brilliantly, and I want to thank them all. We came back with many big wins for TNT, and in the coming days we will roll out some of these goodies that we brought back. But big wins, I think. We've done very well. So thanks to the team, and thanks to all of you in TNT. I'm so happy to be back home.
So Trinidad and Tobago, that was an update for you. Now, in our current affairs segment. Minister of Energy and Energy Industry, Dr. Rudal Monilal, has affirmed his willingness to travel wherever necessary in the national interest of Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Monilal was responding to statement made by opposition MP Stuart Young regarding the Dragon gas deal.
If and when necessary, I am not debarred from going anywhere in the world. I can easily find myself anywhere to pursue the interests of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and our economic advancement. And if it becomes necessary, I would have no difficulty going back to Washington, to Houston, to Caracas, to anywhere.
So Trinidad and Tobago, speaking at an opposition briefing on Wednesday, Young stressed that the project is very important for the country, but the natural gas belongs to the people of Venezuela.
The Dragon gas is owned by Venezuela, and the field is completely situated in Venezuela, and they have the rights to the gas and the gas field. That is Venezuela.
Now viewers, Dr. Monilal underscored that the Dragon project has been revived under the UNC administration following extensive government efforts.
While the Dragon was dead under our administration, the Dragon project has been resurrected in record time for the benefit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We will work with all stakeholders. The government of Venezuela is a critical stakeholder here, of course, given the circumstances of the Dragon project. And we are willing to work with all stakeholders, and we have demonstrated that.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, when asked about the possible communication with the Venezuelan government, the energy minister opted not to comment. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar, speaking to reporters on Wednesday night after her return to the country, said she is confident that Venezuela and TNT can reach an agreement on the Dragon gas deal despite recent tension.
We will work the details out and we'll share them with you. In terms of Venezuela, the projects benefit Venezuela, they benefit the United States, and they benefit Trinidad and Tobago. I'm confident that we'll be able to work it out. It may take a few more days, a little more time, but I'm confident that together all partners in this, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, the United States, will all benefit. So we look forward to good times.
So Trinidad and Tobago, I'll tell all of this. Venezuela has the oil, yes. Former Trinidad and Tobago government, which was the PNM, an OFAC license was granted to them to deal with Venezuela concerning gas and oil under the Biden administration in the United States. When Trump took over, they revoked the OFAC license from the then Trinidad and Tobago government, which was the PNM. Now, coming up the road, the U.S. military is in the Caribbean on international waters. And Donald Trump said that they are going to attack drug smugglers on international waters. Any type of drugs, illegal substance coming into the United States from international waters, Caribbean waters, they are going to blow it up. So my question to you, they were targeting Colombians, cartel. They were targeting Venezuelan cartel. They were even targeting Mexico cartel. Do you think, Trinidad and Tobago, that under the Donald Trump administration, do you think they would have given back the PNM administration the OFAC license that they revoked? Seeing that they were targeting Venezuelans, drug cartel? Do you think that would have happened? Let me tell you something. And I keep saying this for you all to understand. The PNM administration were doing business with a sanctioned countries. That country was sanctioned under the U.S. Treasury. And I believe in no way or no amount of talk or no amount of peacekeeping the Trump administration was going to grant Trinidad and Tobago under the PNM administration that OFAC license. Now I want you all to keep in mind, a minister in Parliament said, what Trump gonna do we? What did Trump did to them? Revoke the OFAC license. So where did they go from there? Nowhere. Nowhere. So common sense will tell you now that that dragon gas deal is dead. Common sense. I want you to understand that. Look how it played off. Now there are U.S. warship, submarine in the Caribbean targeting drug cartels. The Trump administration raised up to $50 million U.S. bounty on Maduro. Did Trinidad and Tobago do that? No, we did not do that. And this is what people have to understand. So I believe no amount of talk that Stuart Chong or Dr. Rowley talked with Rubio, they was going to give them back that OFAC license. None. That is common sense. Government change. Kamala went up, spoke to them. I want to know what was promised to them. That is what I want to know. But nevertheless, I am sure in the coming weeks we are going to hear what actually took place and what actually transpired. Who is given what and who's receiving what. So now, moving down the road now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio has assured Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar that the OFAC license to put the Dragon Gas deal project back on the table is being handled. The main question remains, what is Venezuela's approach to the matter? Well, it appeared that our regional neighbors has adopted a wait-and-see approach. According to a media source within the Maduro administration, a different approach is required from Trinidad and Tobago and the U.S. in order for the Maduro regime to change its current stance before any deal can go forward. It comes after Venezuela described recent rhetoric from both countries as insulting Now I'll tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. I'll tell you something. Our government took $1 million and gave Venezuela. I want to let you understand that. Could Trinidad and Tobago get gas from Venezuela and give them no money but pay them in kindness? Could that happen? I am still waiting for Dr. Keith Rowley, Stuart Young, Embert to come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago about the $1 million US they gave to Venezuela. They gave to Venezuela. What was the money for? And are we going to get it back? That is what I want to know. Now, the Maduro government is also reviewing the terms of the OFAC license before making a final decision while remaining officially silent. Meanwhile, opposition-aligned outlet in Venezuela agreed the deal would be sidelined Caracas, while the pro-government voice accused TNT of acting under U.S. influence. Venezuelan newspaper reported that while TNT could enter negotiation that will enable it to explore the cross-border border reserve, the arrangement will prevent the Venezuelan government from benefiting in any major ways. So at the end of the day, Trinidad and Tobago, keep in mind, Venezuela was sanctioned under the U.S. The PNM administration was doing business with a sanctioned country. This country was sanctioned by the U.S. So Stuart Young, Dr. Keith Rowley never came out and told Trinidad and Tobago how they were going to pay Maduro. How they were going to pay Maduro. They never tell Trinidad and Tobago that. You know why? Non-disclosure here, non-disclosure there, non-disclosure everywhere. So do you think the brilliantness of Rubio is going to sit down and watch these two PNM ministers deal with Venezuela under a country that was sanctioned by the U.S.? Kamala, everybody's saying Kamala this, Kamala that, Kamala the next. But Kamala didn't go into Venezuela to negotiate. No, she didn't do that. She went to the people. And I want you to understand this. This is the difference. This is the difference. Kamala went to the people who sanctioned Venezuela. That is the difference. Did Keith Rowley go to them? No, Keith Rowley didn't go to them. Did Stuart Young go to them? No, Stuart Young didn't go to them. They went Venezuela to deal with a sanctioned country. So, Kamala Persad-Pisasa, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, went to the people who sanctioned Venezuela. They had discussions. At the end of the discussion, Rubio said, you know what? We are going to handle it for you. So Stuart Young could talk from now until he died. Dr. Rowley could talk from now until he died. Penelope Beckles could talk from now until she dies. Them had to say, thank God Rubio did not sanction Trinidad and Tobago. Otherwise, every oil company that is doing business in Trinidad and Tobago would have to pack up and leave. Penelope Beckles, I go tell you that. Stuart Young, I go tell you that. Dr. Keith Rowley, I go tell you that. It go take a man like Saieed to come here now to educate you and tell you that. $1 million US. They took off from Trinidad and sent it to Venezuela, a sanctioned country. So if Rubio now, they sanctioned Trinidad and Tobago, what would have happened to us? I'm asking, you know why I'm asking this? Stuart Young, Dr. Keith Rowley, and Penelope Beckles. Them as the three heads are asking this question. You see the normal people on the street can't go on TV and demand it from them in a protest or on Facebook. They can't. Because they wouldn't understand the logic behind it. You think Penelope Beckles will come and tell you Rubio could sanction Trinidad and Tobago because Keith Rowley dealt with them? No, they would not tell you all that. And I've been educating you since then. After they got their license revoked, then they went to talk what? The thing that you're doing first, you're doing it last. We lost $1 million US. $1 million. So Stuart Young and the PNM could bump their gum how much they want. The thing that they're supposed to do first, they do it last. Why it is? Trinidad and Tobago ask themselves this question. Why it is as soon as Trump administration sworn in, Rowley just jump up before the time. He could have waited. He could have waited. But he didn't. Why? Because he knew the seriousness of it. Dr. Rowley knew the seriousness of it. So did Stuart Young know the seriousness? I don't know. Or unless Stuart Young get brand bruised, but you know what? I go be prime minister. And you know when you had that type of power coming to you, you forget everything that happening. You forgot everything that is happening and power went to your head. As the prime minister now, they can't do me nothing. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, the Venezuelan government is waiting, but I am sure that they are going to come to some arrangement. Being a businessman, I know how negotiation does take place. They are going to come to some sort of arrangement that Trinidad and Tobago will benefit from it. Now, I'll tell you something. For many people, you mightn't understand how a negotiation is take place, but it's back and forth. At the end of it, both parties will benefit. Whereas, well, Trinidad can't give Venezuela cash, but they could benefit in some way. We are going for a short commercial break, viewers. When we come back, Young warns, long road ahead with Dragon Gas deal. More after this.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you.
Throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside, or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, remember, before I go further into the news, let me just remind you that those of you who are looking for excavator to rent or excavator to buy Trinidad and Tobago, remember, Real Talk Equipment Rental has 2023 model excavator. It's 305.5 and it's 306 excavators. I'm going to tell you something. When you buy excavator, you're getting a new brand auger set with it. I want you to keep that in mind. A new brand auger system. That's for those that like you're doing construction and your auger in hole and stuff like that. Plus you have the backhoe, the bucket itself to dig hole. Remember that Trinidad and Tobago? You're looking for a backhoe to rent or to buy, not a problem. Just contact me at 3391670, Real Talk Equipment. We can do some business. If you have contracts and you don't have equipment, you're looking for equipment, that is not a problem. Also, you can contact us. 3391670. Also, Real Talk Rental. Real Talk, our boat viewers, is up for rental. Those of you who want to go down the island or just go out in the sea and relax, it's not a problem. It's a beautiful boat. You can't, let me tell you something, the interior of this boat, you're going to love it. You're going to love it, Trinidad and Tobago. It is up for rent now, viewers. Those of you who want to go out in the ocean, relax. You want to go down by the sea, you want to make a cook, it's not a problem. You could make a cook on the boat. Curry a duck, hunting season open, you could curry a wild meat and enjoy it. So Trinidad and Tobago, just contact me, 3391670. And we outside on the water, cooking, liming, relaxing. Those of you who drinking, just be safe. So to start back our news tonight. Former Energy Minister Stuart Young welcomed news of the U.S. approval for the restart of the Dragon deal for Trinidad and Tobago. Now, to access natural gas from Venezuela field, but warned the government of a long road ahead in expediting this. Listen to this.
We in the PNM would always welcome any positive development for Trinidad and Tobago that would benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But we will not stand by quietly whilst this government continues in its attempts to mislead the population of Trinidad and Tobago as to the realities. They have a long road ahead of them.
Now, Stuart Young, nobody is misleading nobody. Nobody. You all went down to do business with a sanctioned country. The U.S. administration revoked your license, and that was the end of it. Nobody is lying to nobody. You see, Stuart Young, you wouldn't come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago the truth. You will give them something to hear that would cause this. They will give you a round of applause. But the truth behind it, knowing that people will say, but Stuarty, all you know we could have gotten sanction and all that still went ahead, that you wouldn't tell the public. I would tell them that. I would tell them that. because they don't know the seriousness of a sanctioned country. And Ola wouldn't say that. Ola wouldn't say that. That's the difference. Now, speaking during, we have the video where Stuart Young say he knew he was doing business with a sanctioned country, you know. I have the video, you know. We have the video. Hopefully later on this cast, I'll get it. During an opposition briefing on Wednesday, Young said, Kamala Persad-Bissessar-led government has had to backtrack once again as the USC government is now relying on the very foundation laid by himself and the PNM. Listen to this.
Premature Minister Munilal coming out and selling to the country, as is the Prime Minister, that they have obtained something is completely false. We had obtained an initial OFAC license in January 2023, where they spell out the terms of what they would allow. And in that license, they had said that you could not pay Venezuela and the people of Venezuela in fiat currency. It had to be in kind.
Stuarty, don't worry yourself. Don't worry. Now Trinidad and Tobago. In one of her earliest press conferences this year, Prime Minister had dramatically condemned the project, tearing up documents and declaring it dead, while promising alternative. Now MP Stuart Young is urging the country. Listen to this.
So please, Trinidad and Tobago, do not allow them to fool you. But also the irony, ask yourself of the irony of coming back straight to Dragon, which is what we had been saying all along.
So Stuart, if everything was so good and everything was so perfect, how come you all got all your license revoked? How come? You see, Trinidad and Tobago, I am not against no government. Like I always say, I'm not affiliated with the PNM, neither the UNC. But the truth from both governments that they hide it from you is that is what I'm going to bring to you. So how come they got their license revoked? Why? What was the purpose of the government, the US Donald Trump government, revoking the OFAC license under the PNM administration? What was the purpose? Can Stuart Young come out and tell Trinidad and Tobago why the OFAC license was revoked? You see, this is what Trinidad and Tobago wants to hear, the truth. Okay, the US revoked the license. Stuarty, why? Why did they do it? Can Penelope tell Trinidad and Tobago why? Can Dr. Keith Rowley tell Trinidad and Tobago why? Can you, Stuart Young, tell Trinidad and Tobago why? That truth Allah will hide from the public. Allah will hide that. You know why? Non-disclosure, 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 and one set of thing. One set of thing. Just like during the COVID when we dealt with China, non-disclosure, until everything come out in the open. It's sad. It's really, really sad. So Trinidad and Tobago, the US government has granted Kamala back the OFAC license, and they are going to handle it. But like I said, let's wait and see, because Venezuela is going to benefit, I'm sure of that, just like how they were going to benefit under the PNM administration. It became a dead deal. A dead deal under the PNM. But they wouldn't come out and say why we got the license revoked. This is what Trinidad and Tobago wants to know. Why did it happen? Why? Donald Trump administration labeled Maduro as a narco-terrorist. It's sad, you know. It's sad. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, let's hope for the best. Let's hope for the best. We're going for a break. When we come back, Embert slams government on budget date. Look who. The man who raised gas 3 times for Trinidad and Tobago wants to slam the PNM budget. And then he goes skinny teeth for Trinidad and Tobago. More when we return.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real public concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome to Real Talk Financing and Investment, a place where your loans are guaranteed and you're rewarded with up to 5% upfront interest on your deposit. Why wait when you can invest with us today and reap the benefits? Speak with a representative at our central branch at 238-6716, 231-6219, or 339-1670, or our south branch at 242-9944, 241-0543, or 339-1670. Real Talk Financing and Investment. Investment company just for you. For you. For you. For you.
Welcome back.
So, Tobago, welcome back to Real Talk. We will call him in Bird now. Former Minister of Finance Bird says the national budget is likely to be presented on the 6th of October if the government follows normal procedures. During an opposition conference on Wednesday, he explained that about 20 days are usually needed to complete budget debates. Listen to this.
Okay, I expect that if they are behaving normally, it will be on the 6th of October. If they are behaving normally. And I'll explain why. With the new standing orders, you have to give the leader of the opposition 3 clear days. So I always had the budget on a Monday.
Look, we're talking about normal behavior. Normal. You think it normal to raise gas 3 times in the country you live in and watch the citizen and say, them a riot yet? You think that normal? Trinidad and Tobago, while all you had to dig deeper in all your pocket every time, he watching all and laughing. And he going home with tax-paying money. That is what he going home with. He don't have to put gas. You know why? It's a government vehicle. So that is why he could raise it on all you and then turn around now and watch all you and laugh at all you. Laugh at all you. But yay, Colin Bird, we love you. And when they dip in your pocket, you had no money to put gas. You had to pack up your can, ride a bicycle, or take a taxi. But you love Clongin Bird. You love him. That was all a leader. That make all went what? Digging deeper in all your pocket for gas. Your little cook money, you 200-300 right for aside when you get paid to make a cook with your friends. You had to cut that cook. Like Marvin say, carry your family one time for the month. So while you get 4%, he get 40%. Two other from the same party. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, he said, this would allow government spending to continue by October 31st. And warned that without a cent, the government cannot spend beyond November 1st. Listen to this.
So if you start on the 6th, you'll get to the 26th or so, and by the 29th or the 30th of October, the president will have assented to the bill. The government cannot spend any money beyond the 31st of October, according to the law. They have that period, the month of October, to spend. They're allowed to spend 10% of what was spent in the previous year during the month of October. From the time 1st of November reaches, if the budget is not assented to by the president, then the government can't spend any money.
I wonder why he's so frigid and worried. You afraid we end up like the US presently? In the US, the government shut down right now as of October 1st. The government has been shut down. I wonder if Clongin Bird is afraid of that for Trinidad and Tobago. You should have known that before you raise gas 3 times. Now, viewers, Bird to recall that in 2010, the then UNC-led administration ran the budget in 24 hours. Is that a problem? You see, Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. I will quicker come out here on television and tell you the truth rather than those ministers. Rather than those ministers. Clongin Bird is in finance, I am in finance. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that. The only thing about them is that they're getting one set of perks free. One set of perks free. That's the only thing with them. Listen to this video.
This political party has a habit. I remember in 2010 that they ran the budget 24 hours. I remember at 3 o'clock in the morning, going to then Prime Minister Bissessa, saying, look, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, why are we still debating? And what she told me at the time is that she had to go to a government conference in Jamaica. So she was compressing the whole thing. So they just ran it right through.
So I would say that particular man has a habit of raising gas price in Trinidad and Tobago to escalate cost of living. If only I like it, that's the reality. Because when he raised it once, you dig deeper. When he raised it twice, he dig deeper and he say, but them a riot yet. When he raised it 3 times, all that dig a little deeper. And he still said, all that riot yet. We was looking for a war? You was looking for a war? When you know the matter, Political Front leader Michaela Pandey posted on her Facebook page on Thursday that the delay of the budget date only fueled uncertainty. With no parliament sitting since September 19 and no scheduled sitting announced, we can only hope a date is set soon. Michaela, we just only see Michaela when election come out. Other than that, we have seen Michaela. But nevertheless, she's around. Switching now Trinidad and Tobago to Beckles and the breakfast shed. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles has called on the government to hold proper discussion with workers at the breakfast shed to find a mutual beneficial solution to their dispute. with the Urban Development Corporation of Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to Penelope. We go talk after.
Another vexing issue, which is that of the breakfast shed. That is an institution that is part of the cultural fabric of Trinidad and Tobago. And, you know, to say exactly what is the issue, and we have heard that it's an issue of rent not being paid. There is seems to be unclear whether or not they were served a notice of eviction or whether they were not served. But we are really calling on the government to have some proper discussions and collaboration with the vendors.
So Penelope, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question on national television. If you rent in a house and you ain't pay the rent, what do you expect? Every breakfast shed people had a rent to pay every 30 days. Let me tell you something. Uricot has a right to move in if they don't pay their rent. If they don't pay their rent. Today I was reading, I believe it's 8 managerial position became vacant at HDC because contracts wasn't renewed. So I started to ask myself one time, 8 managerial position, contracts were not renewed. So I asked myself, so one day the same managers and them that had to make sure that people who in HEC house and had to pay rent made sure that they pay their rent? How much is rental owing HEC? Penelope, where you going now? How much is the tenants that rented from HEC owes HDC? And these are the same managers and they were supposed to make sure that the government make money from HEC rental homes. Contracts ain't renew. You wasn't doing your job, but now you go fight now because your contract can't renew. That's something to think about, eh? That's something to think about, Trinidad and Tobago. Caller, good night.
Hello, Saeed.
Go right ahead, you're live, my friend.
Hey, Saeed, great job. You're doing a really, really good job, buddy. You know, one of my concerns is this. Why are we giving the PNM people all this airtime? We're just wasting time on them. They were voted out by the people.
Correct.
They were there for 9.5 years and they destroyed the country. You know, I love your show. I really admire you. I would suggest you don't give people this time. You're just wasting your time.
Thank you, my friend. You see, people don't like the truth. Everybody wants to go to work at a nice, high-end paying job and cock their foot on top of the office desk. I am the director of Real Talk Equipment Rental. I am the director of Real Talk Group of Company. I am the director of Real Talk Credit Union. I am the director of Real Talk Finance and Investment. You know, the hours that is work for in the day is 16, 17 hours for the day. From 4 o'clock in the morning to 10, 11 o'clock in the night. Hence the reason why Real Talk Group growing. They're growing. You know why? The head behind it has a vision for the company. Now, tomorrow the 8 managers or the managerial position that become vacant in HGC, them going to start to worry now. Well, you know, we loan coming up and we have children to mind and then we have mortgage to pay and then something wrong with my car. All that you're going to start to worry now. Why? Because you're out of a job. But part of your job was making sure the HGC tenants pay their money. So the government could have money that they spent on building those HGC homes. It's so simple, you know. Now you're worried. You worried now you don't have a job. You didn't worry when HGC tenants wasn't paying the HGC rent. So the government could have had money to pay earlier. All I wasn't worried back then, oh, it's the government. Well, now you're out of a damn job. How it feels? The government have no money to renew your contract. How it fails? We are talking UNC, we are talking PNM. We talking about the damn job you're supposed to do. That's what we're talking about. Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Saeed, man. We're a good show, man, and I want to say good night to you and your staff and thing. But Mr. Saeed, hear this now. Mr. Saeed, how long anybody and any party that go to rule this country, ripping off this country taxpayers' money, and went from then to now, you remember the days of O'Halloran? You remember the days of Mr. O'Halloran? You remember from then to now, all them doing is misusing public funds. That is taxpayers' money. And another thing is this. Nobody is being penalized for using taxpayers' money. It's only talk.
Exactly.
It's only talk. Right? And the next thing is, we have a small country like Trinidad and Tobago that contain 1.5 million people, which is 1.5 million people, but every year we read in a budget for $60 and $65 billion. $billion. So the budget that we read in and the amount of money that the budget is 3-4 times the amount of people in this country. And white is only one set of people that get the money. Chinese people, Syrian people, and all the outside people that come to Trinidad and Tobago, they were off. And the Trinidadians is the one that's suffering. So when Stuart Young and Colin and Booth want to talk, tell them take the tongue and put it in their pocket because they're ripping off Trinidad and Tobago. You want to tell me we had a prime minister in this country that rip off this country with all the taxpayers' money and get the opportunity to resign and go and laugh? And laughing at everybody?
Yes.
Another thing fast, Mr. Said, I hope and pray to God that in this budget something is being done about our gas money. As I am urging Trinidad and Tobago, drivers and owners of vehicles, let us park our vehicle where there is and leave them there. We're going to walk to work and walk back home. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. So Trinidad and Tobago, listen this, Listen this. The popular Port of Spain eatery has remained closed this week over outstanding arrears. Utica chairman Shankar Badesi said the vendors owed close to $2 million in rent, but denied that any eviction notice were issued. Now, I believe what was issued was letters being sent to the individuals telling them to pay up their money. And the outcome of that was, I believe, vendors started to pack up and leave. But tomorrow we will try to get Shankar Badesi and hear what he has to say concerning the whole issues. Because I'm going to tell you something, there's a whole cook-up behind this thing. Because them talking about Patrick Manning owing them $6 million since Patrick days. Since Patrick days. So if you pay now rent, and Patrick owing you money, what Patrick money had to do with your rent? What does Patrick money owing you have to do with your rent? 9 years you work for. So you trying to tell me you have paid rent for 9 years? Come now, man, Trinidad and Tobago. No wonder why we are where we are. No wonder why. She added that most of the persons selling are women. So you're trying to say because you're a woman you can't pay your rent? You see? You see? Because you're a woman you can't pay your rent? But I'm sure when you're going out as a woman, you want to put on the best chain, the best short dress, the best lipstick, and the best hairdo. You want all that. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. When you're renting, whether for business or living, and you know that secures you, pay a damn rent. It's simple. You go jump in a maxi and then jump out back. You jump on a maxi in South, reach border Spain and jump out and go your way. If you got a bus head behind your head, don't you look for that? Don't you look for it? Common sense. We like too much a damn free thing in this country. We don't want to get up and work. You see the neighbor buy a Benz? Hey, look at the neighbor Benz. Ah, boy, you have money. But when you leave at 4 o'clock home in the morning, you sleep until 9 o'clock in the day. But you're watching the neighbor Benz. People may not like how I talk, but reality is reality. Why do you think China is growing like that? You know why? Because they want to have something. They want to achieve. How many of you have achievements set? How many of you has achievements set? It's sad. Call a good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Saeed. Mr. Saeed, everybody talking in this country, gas deal, Dragon gas deal, who win, who lost, continuing to only talk about gas and gas and gas and gas. But Mr. Saieed Ali, you is a man that have vehicles. What is the quality of the gas we buy?
Oh gosh.
What is the quality of the gas that we pay money for? Mr. Saeed, you pull your tag now and you going south, you could hardly come back.
Yes.
The quality of this gas is not good at all. Why it is we have to continue paying for something that is no good? Because it is not standing up for we at all. The biggest money-making thing in this country is gas and vehicles.
Correct.
And the gas is no good, Mr. Saeed, quality. We don't mind paying for something, but what happened to the quality? What happened to we that buying gas for hundreds of dollars and the gas evaporated on its own? You pack up your vehicle home, you drive it for 2 days. When you go back, the gas done. The gas needle gone no half. Why we have to continue paying for that? I want Trinidad and Tobago to know that if we don't pay the least amount of money for gas in this country for our vehicles, we need to pack it up and let whoever ruling know that we need quality for our money, not quantity, Mr. Saeed. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. So, Trinidad and Tobago, listen this, Listen this. In a response, the vendors represented by attorney Kenneth Monroe Brown sent a pre-action protocol letter to UDCOT accusing them or the agency of unlawfully shutting their business and failing to honor a promise made by former Prime Minister Patrick Manning demanding $6 million, which they say is owed to them under that arrangement. She added that most of the persons are selling is women, and they call on the government to look closely at issue before denying dialogue. But Trinidad and Tobago, if you're owing rent, pay your rent. Because I read an article where they say the UDCOT issued letters to come and pay the money that all you're owing. The $2 million. This isn't about the $6 million. This is about the $2 million in rent they're owing. It's sad. But we're going to try to take a Shanka Badesi on a live call to find out what is the real thing. Listen to this video.
Been going to the breakfast shed for the last couple decades. You know, it's most of the person selling are women. And so therefore, if there was an issue of electricity, an issue of water, this is a matter that the government should look very closely at before they simply deny persons who have been selling there for years, denying them the opportunity to continue without proper collaboration, without proper dialogue, and I'm therefore calling on them for the appropriate dialogue.
Penny, stay quiet. Stay quiet. Dr. Oli said when he works, he wants his money. Playing out on a platform. Playing out on a platform. 3/4 of my workers. 3/4 of my workers is females. They come into work every day, and if I don't pay them, they can't see about them rent. So I had to pay them to make sure them pay them rent. If the vendors they pay them rent, they expect you to keep them there. Common sense, common sense. Now, as I said, we're going to try to get Shanka Badesi on the line tomorrow. If you're looking at this program or friends or family of him, tell him to contact me and Saeed. We want to know what is taking place with this issue and put it to rest because it is just dragging. It is just dragging. Now, listen to this. Opposition leader Penelope Beckles has defended her recent participation at the United Nations General Assembly amid questioning over her role and the purpose of her trip. Listen to what Beckers had to say.
Now, I've been going to the UN for the last 3 decades. It's not anything new. Of course, I'm leader of the opposition, so you're there now, and there's a lot of questions have been asked. But I served as the ambassador 2016 to 2020. I mean, if I have served as an ambassador and I have been going to the UN over 3 decades, I mean, if you are there and your prime minister is speaking, yes, the option is you may be somewhere else. But I think that, the opportunity for me as a leader of the opposition to be there at that time, to go and attend, I think that it is something I was there personally, I heard for myself, and I didn't have to read it anyway.
So Trinidad and Tobago, Penny says she have been going there for decades, 3 decades. Listen to this. She stressed that the issue she engaged on was directly related to Trinidad and Tobago, particularly climate change, which she linked to worsening flood and threat of food security. So, worsening with flood. Penny, what did the government do for the last 9 years trying to alleviate flood in Trinidad and Tobago? What did the PNM government do in the last 9 years for food security in Trinidad and Tobago? Let me tell you something. They crippled the agriculture sector. I could tell you that. I live in Trinidad and Tobago, and 9 years now I on television highlighting these issues. So you want to talk, Penny? We can talk. We can talk. I'm from Trinidad. Where you from? Where you from? You see, the truth is what people don't like to hear. The truth. But nevertheless, whether them talk it, Trinidad and Tobago citizens will hear it from me. That one thing I gotta tell people, I'm bold and I'm brave. I'm standing up for my country. If I had to die, I'm gonna die standing up for something. I'm gonna die standing up for something. So Trinidad and Tobago, we have about 1 minute left? 2 minutes? 1 minute left on our program tonight. Viewers, I'm going to tell you something. There's a lot that is bring to the table just to educate you. Yesterday, Guyana, for those of you who don't know, Guyana has a World Trade Center. They got licensed to build one. Yesterday, I got a call from some business people in Guyana, those who actually built the World Trade Center. I was invited to the opening of the World Trade Center just after Diwali, and I will be attending. You know, I feel good, when they say, hey, Saieed, we need you up here. A large group of businessmen who actually built the World Trade Center in Guyana. They called me yesterday early, probably around 7:30. Saieed, we opened the World Trade Center. We need you up here. There's going to be a lot of delegates from all around the world. We need you here. Your business is important. So Trinidad and Tobago, hopefully on that day, I will be in Guyana celebrating Real Talk expanding, equipment rental in Guyana and Real Talk financing in Guyana also. Remember that. Nobody does it better than Real Talk. Viewers, our run of this program is tomorrow from 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. We'll be right back here another night, another show, Real Talk. Until then, good night.